It look okay?
I think it looks fantastic. Do you feel comfortable?
I do. The Welsh flag is showing.
Yeah, you gotta represent country, king and country.
Yes, king and country. How right you are! And I've met the king. Do you know that?
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. I got him to draw a picture.
Is his King Charles?
King Charles. I got him to draw a picture and sign it, and I gave the picture away to a poor community centre. It's true, isn't it? He knows the truth. Yeah.
He signed it as a prince or as a king?
Well, when I met him, he was the Prince of Wales, and he came over to the school that I was teaching at, and I just said to him, I believe you're a good artist, Your Royal Highness. He said, it has been known. I said, go on then, draw us a picture. And I put the pen in his hand and he drew a picture, and I said, you don't mind signing it? And he signed it. And then I had the media on my back after that, and then that was the beginning of the end after that, yeah. Because after that, I was kind of blackballed out of my job because I upset the Prince of Wales and the education department. So, I got blackballed out of teaching, and I never taught in Anglesey or where I'm from ever since, so yeah.
Well, we won't talk about that.
No, we won't. We won't. Sod the buggers, that's what I say. Sod them all.
We're ready to roll?
We're already rolling.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Let's roll.
Andrew, I'm David. I work here with Dr. Cole at the Forhair Clinic, and I thought we might have a little conversation and ask you to share your experiences here with Forhair Clinic and just find out a little bit about what you've done and what you had done here. So let me ask you first. Are we the only one that has done any of the hair transplants with you, or have had an experience with another doctor?
I've been with Forhair and Dr. Cole and his crew from the very first day. I did, in fact, tell a lie. I did have a procedure in South Korea that I did initially have strip surgery.
Oh, okay.
In South Korea, of which went terribly wrong. I paid the price and the consequences. Let's just say I came out of South Korea looking like a corn dolly. If that's what you guys would call it. My hair was just growing. It was growing in all different directions. That is what a hair I had. It was just growing in all different directions. It wasn't good at all. Right. You know, it was just really noticeable because people would come up to you and they'd say, have you had hair restoration surgery? What's that scar on the back there?
It was easily recognized as a
It was, and may I say, it was just one of the biggest regrets. I'd gone into it not knowing anything about hair restoration surgery. I was thinking more about, oh, it's cheap. It's in South Korea, it's gonna be great, you know. I just fell for the media, and didn't really read into it like I should have. And it wasn't until I went online and I read up about Dr. John Cole. And
what year are we talking about now?
Oh, we'd have been talking about 2007.
Okay.
Yeah, 2007. And I was, you know, here I was in South Korea having had this procedure done, looking like a corn dolly. It was a mess. I was unhappy. I was having to wear a baseball cap all the time, try and disguise it in any way or form I could. And I can remember it, just like yesterday, I picked up the phone and I phoned the office in Atlanta, and I got put through to Dr. Cole, and he said, come over and we'll see what we can do for you.
So disillusioned with your first surgery, and I imagine you were pretty excited to do it, and horribly disappointed with the results that you received.
I just felt an immense relief that there was somebody out there in the hair restoration world that could put it right. That's what I was hoping. I thought, well, it can be put right, and that's all I was hoping for, because I thought that the rest of my days were going to have to be spent wearing a cap, a baseball cap all the time.
Yes.
So in fairness to Dr. John Cole and the team here at Forhair, they were really accepting, and understanding, and I felt the first thing was I had to get on a jet plane and get over to Atlanta, and I was just reassured, and everybody, all the members of staff at the Forhair clinic were very welcoming. They were really understanding. There was no sort of, oh, look, you've had a wrong procedure, and there was no sort of malice or anybody scoffing. They were just so welcoming and understanding.
So I imagine there were a lot of choices back then before you finally selected Dr. Cole. What do you think kind of made you say, well, Dr. Cole is the one, let me call him?
I'd gone on to the American Hair Institute please correct me if I'm wrong, the American Institute of Hair Restoration Surgeons, reputable ones.
Right,
This time I wasn't going to be bitten twice. I was going to make sure this time round I was going to make the correct choice, regardless of how much it cost me, because I have to live with the consequences. And so I went onto the website and I read about Dr. Cole, and I thought Atlanta is a central hub from the UK. This is doable, and I did a lot of research, and I'd seen a lot of Dr. Cole's testimonials and blogs and everything about him on the internet, and I just felt really comfortable. So that's why I made the choice.
It looks like your first surgery here was in 2008. So you came from your home country, Wales?
Yeah, I'd left South Korea.
It's South Korea, yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'd left South Korea, and then I'd returned to the UK. And in the UK, hair restoration was in its infancy.
Yes.
It really was, because I thought, well, I could go to a clinic in the UK, but there wasn't much choice in the UK. They were still doing strip surgery in the UK.
Yeah, the FUT, that's the old style.
The old style. And I thought, and here was a clinic in Atlanta that was offering FUE, follicular unit extraction. And I thought, that's what I want to go with, because having been put under the blade in South Korea was, and I'll never ever forget it, where I was put onto this table and I could actually, they hadn't given me anesthetization, and I could actually feel the blade. And it was painful, and then I was literally saying, I can feel the pain, and this doctor or physician putting another tablet into my mouth underneath the table, and I wouldn't like anybody to go through that. And then after the procedure, been put into a taxi and then taken off to a hotel.
Yeah, left on your own.
Left on my own. I wouldn't like anybody to go through that. So, as I say, came back to the UK. They were only offering strip surgery. Not a lot of choice there.
Did you know there was another type of surgery at that time?
I was aware of Dr. Cole and follicular
FUE.
unit extraction, and it sounded the better option, the less painful, and the more dedicated to putting each and every hair follicle back in its proper place, rather than looking like a corn dolly, rather than having a surgeon just cut a strip and then just take it off, and then it yields well, but then whether the hair goes back is another thing. And so I thought my ultimate decision was to go get on a jet plane from Manchester or London and fly over to Atlanta and meet Dr. Cole.
So you selected Dr. Cole, and then you came over for your first surgery. And how did you feel when you first met him and talked to him?
Well, he was really friendly.
Yeah.
I think he went the extra mile, and he's genuine. And he told me, look, this is the situation. he looked at me, he looked at my crown and the recipient areas, and he said, okay, he was honest and upfront. He said, this is what we can do for you,
Right.
this is what we can't do for you, this is what I recommend. And I respected his professional opinion.
Yeah. So he came up with a little plan, so to speak.
He did, and he was honest and upfront, because he put, he said, this is what we can do for you. And it's unfortunate that you had to experience this past experience with strip surgery in South Korea. And this is what we can do. And he was honest and upfront. And I felt really comfortable with him. And his, what I think they call it, bedside manner in the medical world was really good.
Any type of doctor that we go with, we want to feel cared for and comforted when we're with them.
Sure. It wasn't like a card game. It was like, well, if I did, there's none of that. He said, this is what we've got, this is what we can do to help you. And thank you so much for choosing us. And I've never looked back since. Yeah.
So it came time, now you met him and you talked, and so how soon after that was your actual surgery?
Oh,
Days later, a week later?
I think from what I remember, I think it may have been after having had the initial consultation with him. I think it was maybe a month after I flew back to the UK.
Okay.
And then I came back, and because I can remember having a chauffeur service bring me to the clinic, and everything was set up for me, and I was made welcome, and everybody in the clinic even went out of their way to get me dinner, because here I was, sat down watching television or a movie from what I can remember, and having all of the crew and Dr. Cole there working on me throughout the day. And
and so I see you've had 4 surgeries here. So, and they probably were similar. Some were bigger than the others, I see.
Yeah.
So kind of tell us, share with us how it went. How did you feel? Was there pain involved? Were you just hanging around waiting for hours for something to happen? Were you comfortable?
Well, it's procedures now and again can be fairly long. You can be sat.
Yes.
But in fairness with Dr. Cole, he'd say, if you need a restroom break, just let us know. If you're feeling uneasy about anything, don't be afraid to ask. And I think maybe once or twice I'd have a restroom break.
Of course.
And then at lunchtime, I was given kind of a menu on what I could choose to eat.
That was nice.
Which was great. And then, in fact, before the surgery, Dr. Cole would say, look, don't drink any carbonated drinks. What else was there? Anything, don't take any vitamin tablets.
I'm sure you talked a bit about medication and such.
Sure, medication, not what to take before you come in for your procedure. So all of that was done. And, his bedside manner was really good. And to me, the reason why I came back time after time, it was as I was coming back to a family. Everybody in the office was very friendly, welcoming. They knew me, they remembered my name, and I've just felt at ease and comfort throughout the years.
And that's important, I think.
Yeah.
So with that first surgery in Korea, you said there was pain involved and such. How, just thinking about how that felt the first time to how it was with Dr. Cole, pain or anything like that was, you did a lot of work, so I'm sure you felt something, but like the first time or not at all like the first time?
Well, in fact, I remember Dr. Cole saying to me, he said, you might feel a bit of pain. Tell me if you feel any pain here. So you get the difference. Tell me if you feel any pain.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
yes, exactly.
Not unlike where in South Korea, and I'm not disputing any South Korean surgeons, but there is a certain. But tell me if you feel any pain, and he just went, I didn't feel any pain whatsoever, and the other members of staff were there, the other medical crew were there.
His team.
His team, and they were great. In fact, he had anaesthetized my donor area and the crown and all the areas, recipient areas. He'd anaesthetized them, and I hadn't known. And all of a sudden, I just felt my head going numb. And he said, "Right, how does that feel?" And then the first graft went in. He said, "Can you feel anything?" No, and it was good, and it was quick, and it was instant, and no, I didn't feel any pain.
So that first surgery in 2008 with Dr. Cole, and it looks like about 700-800 grafts that you had, and then you finished. I guess you went back to the UK, back home, and you came back in 10. So from 8 to 10, how did you feel your hair looked? Were you happy with results? Did you see results?
Oh, certainly, yeah. Progress had been made. Yeah, I could see that the hair was growing. Stronger. The hair was growing. Certainly, those dormant areas were now being populated with hair. And
a good feeling out of it.
It certainly was. Yeah, and. The dormant areas were being populated with hair. I mean, I wish I could have had the entire procedure done in one go, but due to my financial situation at the time, I could only afford so much. But Dr. Cole was understanding about that.
Yeah.
He said, "Look, we can give you so many grafts, and then when you come back, maybe in 6 months or a year, just keep it going on progressively." It wasn't a case of I wasn't being forced into, you must have all this procedure done at once. It was, we understand your situation, we'll work with you, we'll work together. And that's why I kept on coming back.
Right, and everybody's in
the
a different
incentive was
situation.
there, and it was exactly.
Everybody has a different situation.
Sure.
So, and there are two ways to do it. You can have a great big massive procedure, have 3,000 grafts. If Dr. Cole says it's there and it's possible, or you can do a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I wish
whatever is best for you.
Yeah, sure. I wish I could have. I wish I could have had the entire procedure done in one swoop.
Yeah.
But as I say, at the time, due to my work constraints and the availability of work, I had to sort of budget, like we all have to do.
We all have that.
And
yes,
so I explained this to Dr. Cole. He said, "Sure, we can work through this," and he was understanding about it.
All kinds of situations out here.
Very understanding, very acceptable, very understanding, and you know what? It was the best bang for buck I got.
Oh, really?
Really? No, that is serious. That was the best bang for buck I got. Where a lot of others would say, "Yeah, this is acceptable." No, Dr. Cole did better. He understood, and it was really heartfelt, and it was bang for buck. And he would say, "I might give you a few extra grafts," because it was he understood. He's one of these doctors who understands, and I really mean that.
And even for myself, I'm sure you're the same way. To spend a lot of money, you want to feel value for that money. You want to feel that you've gotten your money's worth. And you felt that with Dr. Cole?
Certainly, without a doubt, yeah. And I've been truthful there, in all honesty.
And that's perfect. That's how it's important, I think, for all of us to feel that way. So 4 procedures total, and each time you went a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. So it looks like maybe you've had about 3,500 grafts. What do you look for the future?
Well, hopefully in the near future. I know that I may be receding on the crown a bit, and it's possible that I would follow up with having some more grafts.
Yeah.
I am a bit older now than what I was back in the day, so I would certainly speak to Dr. Cole and ask him what he would suggest.
Exactly.
Yeah, follow his professional opinion.
Professional opinion.
Certainly.
Because he's been through it all.
Certainly
he
has.
certainly knows best, and we know that hair loss is progressive, and it continues marching down the road. And Dr. Cole.
Nothing lasts forever.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, you may not know this about me. Dr. Cole did my whole hair transplant. So we started back in the middle 90s,
Wow.
and I was pretty bald.
Right.
So he gave me my hairline. He gave it lasts forever.
Wow.
So I'm a big fan of his as well.
You're an advocate like myself. And,
Exactly.
And
I am,
another
absolutely.
thing is that Dr. Cole is a pioneer of the hair restoration industry.
That he is.
And what really sort of and what I admired about Dr. Cole is the fact that he not only is a phenomenal surgeon, but also he helps to pioneer the instruments that the hair restoration world professionals use. You know, you got the hole punch, the CIT punch there, and the other equipment. I guess there's been a lot of progress from when I.
Oh, you've done your homework well.
Yeah, he's certainly a pioneer, as well as being an excellent surgeon with the materials that he uses, and yeah.
So being with Dr. Cole has just been a world of difference from your first experience to what you've experienced with Dr. Cole.
Yeah, it pays to shop around and to question everything, and I was really fortunate that I discovered Dr. Cole on the American Hair Restoration website as being one of the pioneers there, and I thought I had taught in North Carolina, and I thought, well, one of the world's top hair restoration surgeons is in Atlanta, and Atlanta's just a state below.
It sure is.
And it's a central hub when it comes to flights and transportation, and I thought, right, well, this is how we're going to go, and that's what I did, and I've had no regrets whatsoever, you know, and here I am, you know, from 2007.
Yes, sir.
You know, and we're now in 2022, it will soon be 2023, and here I am, living evidence, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, here I am, you know, and you can look at my past pictures if you want to, and you can see for yourself. I can't say any more about Dr. Cole. I'm a great advocate, and here I am, living testimony, and I'm back here today, having travelled over from England back to the United States to see Dr. Cole again. I always drop in, you know, I'm part of the family, as I said.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, you are. So, Andrew, are you using any? Are you doing anything now to maintain your new hair in its new location, and your old hair? Are you doing any topicals or are you taking anything to help keep what you have?
Well, I think topical finasteride and possibly minoxidil.
Yeah, Dr. Cole does like to use that.
Yeah, and also I had used the Biotin and the Forhair shampoos. You know, a lot of these shampoos, there's phosphates in them, and sort of unwanted chemicals that used to dry my hair out really vigorously. So I think, you know, I thought the Forhair conditioning shampoo was really good, and the Forhair shampoo, the whole product, you know.
Now, did you know, Andrew, that Dr. Cole can use your beard hair or your body hair, put it up on your head, and it chin hair?
Yeah.
Have you ever done that? Used any of your chin hair?
I can't
for the
say
top
I
of your
have.
head?
Yeah, I was aware of it.
I was shocked when I learned that myself.
Yeah,
But he does a lot of that.
That's pretty amazing.
Something to consider for the future. I just wish he could use it from a relative or something. My mother had a ton of hair. I wish I could have half of that that she had, but you can't do that. You know, it would be like, I suppose, you'd have to take anti-rejection drugs.
I mean, there's been so much since 2007. There's been a lot of advances.
Oh, heck yeah.
I remember Dr. Cole telling me about platelet PRP, I think it's called, PRP, and now we're, I think there's so many advances taking place all the time.
He uses a CRP, which it takes those platelets, and then he has the way to extract the growth hormones out of them, which is exactly the substance that he needs to to put back into your hair?
It's a CRP where they extract they spin the blood and they take
Exactly.
the platelets out or the plasma out of it. Is it? Or, I don't know too much about it, but that I think was just about coming in shortly after I'd had my first procedure. I may have, in fact, I think I did have CRP with my procedure in 2010.
Probably so.
Yeah.
And what I like about Dr. Cole myself is he keeps growing with this. He lectures around the world. Like you told us, he has instruments that he's designed that other doctors use, which I think is just fantastic. And he keeps coming up with new stuff.
Innovation. And myself being an engineer myself, you know, I just like the innovation. And after, you know, Dr. Cole and myself speak about engineering ideas and so I could, you know, not only being a physician or hair restoration surgeon, but he also, when I used to talk about engineering terms and technical terms, especially with electronics, he was very au fait with what I was talking about with. So, very talented man.
Yeah, he keeps right on the edge of everything. He knows enough about anything to have discussions with.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm pleased that you're pleased with Dr. Cole and Forhair Clinic.
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody else to get them to choose Dr. Cole over the 400 or 500 other doctors out there that do this sort of work?
Well, I just kind of sum it up by saying best bang for buck. I think that's what you guys call it.
No, we say that, we do.
Yeah, and it pays to shop around. And look, today out there in the media world, we've got the internet, we've got cell phones, we've got multimedia, we're getting adverts. Somebody's always trying to sell you something every day on TV or media and what have you. Just really read in between the lines and sort of make the right choice. An experience goes a long way. I mean,
Yes,
Dr. Cole has been in business for many, many, many years. The practice has been running for many, many years, and that in itself tells you something. And also, look at the forums, look at what the Forhair website tells you. You'll even find myself on the website telling you, if you look at Dr. Cole's website for hair, I'm actually on his web page from way back in 2007 and 2010. So this isn't the first time I've appeared on camera, and I wouldn't, if I didn't want to return, I would reluctantly have said no, but when I knocked on the door earlier, Dr. Cole welcomed me and everybody here, and they said, "Welcome back." And I said, "Great." And they said, would you like to go on camera? I said, "Well, certainly. That's the whole reason I've come back, is to tell everybody that I'm still here. I've still got my hair." And you can see the previous pictures of myself on the earlier forums with the Forhair forums. And so it's good to be back. And Dr. Cole's expertise and his crew's expertise and knowledge and words cannot express, but it's good to be back and you're in good hands. So if you're thinking on getting hair restoration surgery, come to Forhair, because it's where it's at and it's the best bang for buck.
Oh, that's
true. And that's from the heart, everybody, if you're listening out there.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you very much. I think everybody would be interested to hear your story and your experiences, and maybe it might click into somebody's mind that they too can have that with Dr. Cole.
Yeah, as I say, there's so much, out there in the media world, best prices, and, hop on a jet plane, go here, there, and everywhere, and that's you pay your money, you take your choice, and that's up to you. And I'm just glad to say I made the right choice, and I hope you do too.
No, beautiful.
There we are. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Andrew.
Forhair is run by Dr. Cole with 30 years of hair restoration experience, and we offer the most cutting-edge technology available. In fact, the Forhair Enterprise sub-company Cole Instruments manufactures custom-made tools and automated tools for hair restoration physicians all over the world. Our quality, expertise, and skills are superior to other clinics. Our reputation and results are the best in the world. It's time to restore your hair. It's time to choose Forhair.
We hope you enjoyed the video.
Don't forget to hit the little bell button to get notifications of Forhair's video uploads. For online consultation, click on the link on the screen or in the video description.